You're opening the clinic on a Monday morning just like any other. The waiting room is filling up, and your staff is handing out tablets for intake. Everything feels routine because your IT person just did their monthly check yesterday. While you're pulling up a patient's medical history to verify insurance, the screen flickers and a progress bar appears. You figure it's just a standard update, so you keep clicking through the patient's chart. 10 minutes later, every workstation in the office locks up, and you realize thousands of patient records are being copied to a server in a different country. By noon, you have a waiting room full of people you cannot treat, and a legal crisis starting to mount because your protected network was wide open. The mistake is thinking IT support and cybersecurity are the same. One keeps computers running, while the other keeps criminals out of your data. I'll show you why that gap exists, so your practice isn't the next headline. You've told yourself, we're too small to be a target, but we're not. You catch yourself thinking, we hired an IT person MSP, but they didn't really understand security. You're stuck in that place where you say, I just want to sleep at night knowing we're protected. I'm Kevin, founder of Sentry Systems. For over 26 years, we have been helping small businesses like yours combat cybersecurity threats. Most clinic owners tell me their IT guy has it covered. It's a natural belief. If the printers work and the internet is fast, we assume the digital vault is locked. Standard IT is about processing transactions, while security is about fraud alerts. Recent data shows the Lassen Medical Clinic breach exposed over 100,000 patient records in one weekend. I use a rule called the support security split to see where IT ends and risk begins. This helps you spot the difference between a technician fixing a mouse and a specialist stopping unauthorized access to your wallet. When you treat them as the same, you leave the back door to your accounts unlocked because you think the front door is enough. David runs a busy pediatric practice with 15 employees. Right now, he's underwater trying to clear a massive backlog of school physicals before the new year starts. To keep the office moving, his IT firm uses a remote support tool. It lets them hop onto his computer and fix billing issues the second they pop up. It's a setup that seems to make sense when you are busy. One Tuesday morning, David is in his office talking to a parent. Out of the corner of his eye, he sees his mouse cursor start moving on its own. It's clicking through folders and opening files. He does not think twice about it. He assumes it's just his IT guy doing some background maintenance. So he ignores the screen and keeps talking. By lunch, the whole day falls apart. The billing software is completely wiped. Just gone. Then his desk phone rings. It's a patient's mother. She's confused because she just received a weird email that included her child's private medical history and full name. When they finally dig into what happened, the reality is much worse than a glitch. That remote support tool had zero multi-factor protection. A criminal had not just broken in. They had been silently watching David's screen for 3 days, learning exactly how he worked and where the data was kept. David did not finish those physicals. Instead, he had to call 50 different parents to tell them their children's social security numbers were likely sitting on the dark web. Here is the insight most people miss. Standard IT support focuses on access. They want to make sure the tools work and they can get in to help you whenever there is a problem. But real security focuses on control. It's about knowing exactly who is in your system at all times. In this case, David's own trust in his tools was used as the door to let the thief right in. I remember getting a call at 6 a.m. on a Tuesday from a panicked practice manager I'd met at a local networking event. She sounded like she was on the verge of tears as she spoke to me over the phone. She said the staff had just arrived and were trying to start their morning, but they could not open any of their imaging files. When I logged in remotely to help them out, I saw exactly what was happening on the screen. Every single X-ray and lab result in their system had been renamed with a weird encrypted extension. While I was looking at the files, I could hear the owner in the background. He was shouting at the top of his lungs that he pays thousands a month for IT support, so he could not understand why this was happening to his business. The reality was that 7 years of patient history was now locked behind a digital wall we could not climb. This was not a sudden hit that happened that morning either. We eventually found out the attacker had been inside their network for 3 weeks. They had just been sitting there quietly, watching how the practice handled insurance claims and seeing exactly how the money moved. I had to give the owner a very hard diagnosis in plain business language. I told him his IT support was great at keeping him online and making sure his computers worked, but they were not even looking for intruders. The silence on the other end of the line was heavy. It was the moment he realized that his standard IT support was a helpful service, but it was not a shield. We were eventually able to kick the attacker out and stabilize the network. We even managed to restore most of their files because we found an old offline drive they'd forgotten was even plugged in. But the fallout for the business was permanent. They were legally forced to send out 15,000 notification letters to their patients, and the cost of that process was more than a year of their total profit. I've seen this same pattern in dental offices and family clinics for over 26 years. The businesses that actually survive these hits are the ones that decide to apply the support security split early on. They stop assuming their IT guy is also a bodyguard, and they start making sure someone is actually watching the door before the next mistake becomes expensive. If you could rethink one thing today, let it be the assumption that IT support alone is enough to secure your medical practice from cyber threats. Leaving a medical practice exposed to ransomware can lead to devastating breaches of patient trust and sensitive health data exposure. If you want to see exactly where your small medical practice doors are currently left unlocked, click the link in the description below to run our 10-minute cyber health check. Let's protect your client files before tomorrow morning.